OCD does not have to be a lifelong diagnosis. In this video, I'm going to tell you the hidden causes, the things behind the scenes that are causing your brain to keep circling with these thoughts, okay? First, let me say I'm not a medical doctor. It's not medical advice. It's based on my personal experiences for informational and educational purposes only. So what people don't talk about when they're looking at OCD is they don't talk about what they're eating. They don't talk about what they're inhaling. They don't talk about really what they're thinking. They just call it OCD, right? I had chronic intrusive thoughts that led me to a point where I wanted to almost commit suicide at one point in time. I definitely understand what it's like to be there. But what I realized is that these thoughts were tied to things I was doing and perceiving, okay? First one, that was the biggest one that I didn't realize, was that I was living in a house with black mold. I was sensitive to mold. I was living in a house environmentally that was triggering me, and that was causing neurological inflammation. And that neurological inflammation manifests in the form of anxiety, in the form of cyclical thoughts and thought loops. So I thought to myself, hey, I have, this mental health disorder. I got this issue, but the reality was it wasn't that. It was, number one, it was what I was inhaling. I was living in a house with mold, and I had immune sensitivities to mold all my life and didn't even realize it. As I moved from one house to another, suddenly my mental health condition would get worse. But I didn't realize it was because of what I was inhaling in that house, okay? The next thing is what I was eating was affecting my thought patterns, my OCD-like thought patterns, right? So what I was eating, was I eating nuts and seeds all the time? Because they could cause neurological inflammation if they're not digested. Was I eating gluten, which is one they've shown that can even cause schizophrenia in some people because of how significant the reaction can be. Was I eating eggs? Was I eating dairy? Was I eating all these things that would just drag me down mentally and physically so that I would feel stuck in my own mind? I'd feel trapped in my own mind. So yeah, I was eating processed food. I was eating crap. I was eating dairy, nuts, seeds, gluten. I was living in a moldy house, etc. But what I was also doing was I was running from my emotions, okay? So when these thoughts would come in and they'd paralyze me and I'd feel, I don't know what to do with it, then I would just distract myself with something else. I would try to go ahead and run from the emotions instead of addressing them and defeating them and realizing that these thoughts that I was having were based on past events that were not true anymore. They are based on past events that are not correlated to this future event I was foretelling or foreseeing. And the reality was my OCD, my obsessive intrusive thoughts were often stuck in the future. They're always about what's going to happen in the future, what's going to happen in the future. And sometimes what I should have did in the past, but often it was the future. And the more I focused on being present, started doing slow, deep breathing, meditation. When I started to have intrusive thoughts, I started to have this PTSD kick in. I would do my slow, deep breaths through my nose over and over and over. Sometimes it'd take 25 minutes to get myself to a place where the thoughts would go away. But when they would go away, I'd feel at peace again. I'd feel like I was in control of my mind. The slow, deep breathing was absolutely critical to get over these thoughts. And also leaving a moldy house, stopping eating the crap trigger foods, stop eating too much meat. The reality is these things all affect my thoughts. I even saw in some people, including my daughter, when she eats meat, she starts to have these intrusive thoughts. I mean, who knows what the reason is, but within 45 minutes it happens. So it's what we're consuming that's affecting what we're thinking. It's what we're inhaling. It's what we're perceiving. All these things affect what we're thinking. And don't buy into this OCD diagnosis. Realize that it's just thoughts that you have been unwilling to address. And if you really want to address these things, create a journal, create an emotion log, contact someone like me to work through it, figure out why you believe these things, how we can work through these things, how we could change the beliefs around these things and your perspective surrounding these situations that are paralyzing you emotionally. So this is what I do with clients. I help them create emotion logs. They write down how they're feeling, the things that are really affecting them emotionally, the thought loops, and then we go through them and we deconstruct these things to help them feel safe with each of these situations, help them realize that the things they're thinking aren't facts, they're just feelings, okay? And that their thoughts are not them, they're just thoughts, okay? So thanks for watching, everybody. I have plenty more information on this topic. I've dealt with mental health conditions myself, helped plenty of people with OCD and other serious mental health disorders, and it always comes back to one of three things. It's what we're thinking, what we're inhaling, what we're consuming. Thanks for watching, everybody.